After Elizabeth knocked out little Annie, Leping took her back to the church so she could get some rest and recover from her past. Some moments later, little girl Annie woke up and asked Leping if he brought her back, seeking forgiveness for inconveniencing him. Leping replied, saying it's nothing like that. Having Elizabeth's portal makes it easy. He asked if she is feeling better now. Little Annie got emotional, her eyes filled with tears. She explained that she remembered everything. There was no nun at all. The murderer was she herself. Lynn started to comfort her, saying she is wrong because everything she did was to protect her siblings. She is not a murderer. However, little Annie started crying, insisting that Lynn is wrong, and it's all her fault. She blamed herself for running away after losing control. Lynn explained to her that it's all the Dark Guild's fault. It wasn't her intention to lose control after awakening her bloodline. He told her to stop blaming herself like that because everyone is lacking materials. But little Annie does not listen to him. She is still thinking that she is the one who killed her own siblings, and this fact will never change. After seeing little Annie, Lynn got the doll and said to Annie that when she was making the dolls, all the details were good. But it's obvious that she was scared of the cotton slipping through, so she made a lot of knots. Even if it is secured, it will result in the doll losing its spirit as a whole. Lynn asked little Annie to let him help her untie the knots and remake it. So, he dismantled every part of little Annie's doll to recreate them. However, after seeing this, little Annie started going out of control again, thinking that Leping is also harming his brother and sisters. After seeing little Annie, Lynn started telling her that Shakespeare once said, "Don't wander under the tree, don't ponder under the rain, and don't cry in the dark." Hearing Leping's words, little Annie found herself in an unknown place surrounded by water. Some moments later, when she came to her senses, she found herself in an unfamiliar place, wondering where she was. Suddenly, a really big hand emerged from the sky, telling little Annie to look forward, don't look back. As long as she has the courage to face it and raise her head up, she will find the current haze to be but a very short rainy season. The sky was too bright, but when Annie looked properly, she saw that it was Lynn in the sky, helping little Annie to control her power. He asked Annie to look forward, emphasizing that there is still a bright sky, which will give her determination. He used his hand to lift little Annie from the water, bringing both of them from darkness to light and giving her new hope. Sometime later, Lynn created a new doll for Annie, saying, "This is the doll I remade for you, Annie. His name is Raphael. This is the angel doll, Raphael, that Lynn created for little Annie. And you know whatever Lynn creates, that item is really overpowered. He hopes it can help her heal. So, he gives this doll to little Annie." After receiving the doll, little Annie became emotional, thinking, this feeling, it's for her brothers and sisters. Suddenly, she started seeing her brothers and sisters playing with Lynn. They told little Annie that they're all free and asked her not to worry about them anymore. She has to live well for them. After saying this, they started disappearing, saying goodbye to little Annie. After everything happened, little Annie started crying. She promised her brothers and sisters that she would definitely protect the church. Lynn placed his hand on little girl Annie, saying, "After a rain, the sky clears up." After everything happened, Lynn felt relieved, thinking it was a good thing he had learned about psychotherapy from books he got from the system before. But to be on the safe side, he still had to come back to check regularly. On the other side, in the demon realm, Death Swamp, when all the dark powers resident, Amelia came here after receiving orders from Elizabeth to find out about the Dark Guild. But after seeing the land, Amelia was unhappy, saying she will never forgive them who turned her master's land into such a mess. This is the same place that Elizabeth ruled 500 years ago. In front was a huge castle that has turned into a total mess. Amelia jumped from the cliff and started heading to the castle so she could get some information about Dark Guild. Suddenly, smoke surrounded Amelia, and she started hearing voices saying that new food has come to the door. Whoever kills her first will get to dismember her. They want her soul. But when Amelia comes close to these voices, she sees many ugly monsters. They want to eat Amelia and devote her soul. But Amelia does not give a thought about them. She killed every monster without moving from her place. She is annoyed, thinking that these guys are treating her master's land as a garbage dump. After witnessing Amelia's power, other monsters get very scared of her. They all give way for Amelia to go while shaking in fear. Suddenly, a purple boss monster appears from a book flying in the air. He asks Amelia who she is, and how dare she come to the Dark Guild to stir up trouble alone. This monster is one of Dark Guild's 6 pillar demons named Kused, and he is a level 5-star demon ancestor. He threatens Amelia, stating that he is one of the 6-pillar demons, kused, and asks Amelia to come over. At the same time, in the Dark Guild hall room, there are thousands of monster body parts in some kind of purple bubble, for creating thousands of monster clones. Other 6-pillar demon group members are standing in front of a really large egg, talking with a man who is connected to that large egg. He tells the other 6-pillar members that a powerful one is coming to their door. One of the 6 pillars told him that Ghana's troops were completely wiped out when invading the Sword Saint Guild. Could it be that they have come to take revenge? He is Dark Guild's 6-pillar demon, Sawani, and he is a level 1-star demon sovereign. Another one says it's not a problem, explaining that the purple demon kused will greet them. She is another 6-pillar demon, Ruth Bader. She is a level 2-star demon ancestor. Dark Guild's another 6-pillar demon. Experiment number 24 asks another 6-pillar if he wants to fight with the intruder, William Elizabeth. He is told to shut up. Dark Guild's vice president, Dago Cthulhu, tells everyone that no matter who it is, even if it is the Swordmaster himself, if he dares to come, he will never return. The man who is supporting the large egg is the Dark Guild president, and his name is Kused Malfoy. He was the prince of the human king who swore his loyalty to Elizabeth at the beginning of the story. Though he is still alive, he tells everyone that at first, he was worried about the missing materials. But he didn't expect them to be delivered to his doorstep out of nowhere. On the other side, Amelia has already defeated the purple demon. The purple demon is really confused, thinking, how is this possible? His abyss magic is all useless, and even his magic tools have no effect on the intruder. He realizes that this isn't good. Her power is endless. He thinks it's best to use teleportation magic to go back to the hall and convey information to the rest. But before he uses his teleportation magic, Amelia uses her dragon's claw and crushes him with her hand. By using this skill, she can be in her human form and can use any part of her dragon body at will. Only purple demon blood and some body parts remain after Amelia uses her dragon hand to crush him. In the next moment, thousands of demons come toward Amelia. They are great apostles. They are a little scared, thinking about how the purple demon was actually defeated by a mere child. But they are more happy, thinking there will be 2 vacant seats for a pillar demon now. They were thinking that since Amelia and the purple demon had a difficult battle, she should be definitely seriously injured. They ask everyone to take this opportunity. Another great apostle asks all the apostles to go, just overwhelm her with numbers and kill her. But Amelia does not give a thought about them. She just sees them as another pile of trash. She uses the Golden Dragon King roar and kills all the demons in just one attack. Her roar's sound was so strong that all of the great apostles' heads start to hurt like crazy and blast. They die, and a blood rain starts in that place. While walking in that rain, Amelia says all done. After killing them, Amelia opens her wings and flies and goes to the castle to find out about the Dark Guild. But before she enters the castle, the door demon stops her, saying if she wishes to enter, she must answer his questions. The cost of answering wrong is her life. So, he starts asking her questions, but before he completes his words, Amelia kicks the demon door and breaks him into multiple pieces. After destroying the demon door, she enters the main hall. The first thing she saw after entering was Malfoy. Beside Malfoy, remaining members of the 6 pillars were standing. After seeing Kused Malfoy, Amelia says to him that he has turned it into something ugly. After hearing this, Malfoy starts laughing, saying 5,000 years have passed, and he became old now. He is really happy after meeting Amelia after such a long time. But before he completes his words, Amelia kills him with her power. His body explodes instantly. After seeing this, everyone gets really surprised, wondering what just happened. One of them asks if Amelia thinks her attack worked. After killing Kused Malfoy, Amelia thinks she's done and suggests calling it a day and going to Master Elizabeth. But suddenly Malfoy's body starts regenerating. He said, as expected of Lady Amelia, she's gotten even stronger. However, he is really curious and asks Amelia why she suddenly awakened from his deep slumber. He asks if she perhaps found Master Elizabeth. Amelia gets really surprised, thinking about what just happened. How is he still alive? But before she says something, the 6-pillar vice president attacks Amelia with his taboo tentacles. He ties Amelia with his tentacles so she can't move. He tells Amelia that as long as he defeats her, the Demon Queen Elizabeth's mount, Golden Dragon King, the position of the Lord of Demons will be his. He laughs, saying that now Amelia's magic power and the movement of her limbs are sealed inside the Dark Sea. No matter how strong she is, she can't escape his grasp. Amelia laughs and asks him, who wants to escape? What do you mean? Amelia starts chewing his tentacles, but he tells her that it's a pointless struggle. However, Amelia doesn't give a thought about him and continues eating. But his tentacles are really large. When they all come out of the ground, he tells Amelia that she is a stupid girl, asking if she wants to eat him. Does she know how large his body is? She shouldn't overestimate herself. But he underestimated Amelia. Amelia starts eating his whole body, and the octopus demon gets really scared. He asks Malfoy to save him, but before they help, Amelia already finishes eating him. Since waking up, she hadn't eaten anything, and thought that this would be enough to fill her stomach. Suddenly, one of the 6 pillars says to Amelia that she surrenders. She had to join them against her will. She comes close to Amelia and uses her seductive kiss on Amelia, thinking if attacking doesn't work, this will. She asks Amelia from now on. She is her prisoner. However, her seductive kiss doesn't work on Amelia. Amelia releases some of her power and sends her flying to the other side. She doesn't give a thought about her. She is still thinking about the octopus she ate before. Because the silly octopus still wants to multiply in her stomach, she says to the octopus that she will digest him in one go. Other 6 pillar members get really surprised, thinking not only did Amelia kill the vice president, but she also injured her father. He thinks Amelia is interesting. So he uses his Demon King skill, Liberation, but Amelia sends her flying with just one punch. He comes back, and with one other 6 pillar member, he attacks Amelia, but she killed both of them with her one attack. After killing the remaining 6 pillar, Amelia asks Malfoy if he is thinking of replacing Elizabeth by bringing this trash with him. He is not even qualified to be her opponent right now. Malfoy congratulates Amelia for being promoted to Demon King when he saw her power. He said he is so envious. As a human, he doesn't have a long enough lifespan to break through. Amelia interrupts him, saying that's enough with the nonsense, and asks him if he is going to commit suicide, or if he still thinks he can beat her. Malfoy starts laughing, saying how could he, Whis Malfoy, dare to be her opponent. But suddenly, the egg behind Whis Malfoy starts revealing. The thing inside that big bubble looks like Elizabeth. Malfoy says that if they add her, the matter would be different. After seeing Elizabeth's clone, Amelia gets really surprised, thinking about what he just did. She is really angry. Whis Malfoy starts laughing loudly, saying with the help of the Elizabeth clone, he will defeat Amelia. 1 month later, robot dog licking his censored body parts. Lynn is working on his farm, digging a hole and sowing some fruit seeds. He gives them some water, and in the next moment, a tree grows with many types of fruits. Lynn harvests all the fruits from the tree and starts traveling back to his home with his robot dog. But in the middle on the roof, he suddenly stops. He is lost in thought. But when the robot dog barks at him, then he realizes and follows him back. After coming back home, he starts preparing some firewood for cooking, but he is still lost in thought. Even while cooking, he is not his usual self. Elizabeth, who only focuses on eating, also notices Lynn like that. She doesn't know what the hell is going on with him. In the night, Lynn can't sleep because of this. Suddenly he sits on the bed and says that he has decided he will ask Elizabeth about the world. In the next morning, he apologizes to Elizabeth for bothering her so early. He makes today's breakfast and asks Elizabeth to please enjoy. Elizabeth asks him if he has anything to say. Just say it because she hates beating around the bush. After hearing this, Lynn explains that after this year of getting along with each other, Elizabeth should already know that he is no threat to her and that the hero and demon queen can coexist. So, he thinks it's time for Elizabeth to get out of here and take control of the world again. But Elizabeth is really confused, thinking about what Lynn wants to say. Leping explains that he originally thought he could live peacefully by hiding here in the novice village. However, he didn't expect that what the system said about the encounter of the hero and the demon queen being inevitable would be true. He didn't go out, but Elizabeth came to his door. As a result, the novice village's barrier was damaged, and 500 years passed outside, resulting in the current chaos. Without Elizabeth ruling the world, some dark guilds have appeared. And what happened to Uncle Boss and Annie is just a tiny part of the chaos in the outside world. After hearing this, Elizabeth is really confused and asks him why he cares if it's chaotic or not, as it doesn't affect them. But according to the system, if Lynn and Elizabeth become enemies, the world becomes peaceful. However, if they both become friends, then the world is in chaos. Lynn explains that he was intertwined during this period because of the barrier's disappearance. Without Elizabeth, it would have been difficult for him to continue living like this. If he didn't know what was going on outside, he could certainly continue his life here without any problems. But after witnessing it, he can no longer stay out of it simply because he doesn't want to be a hero or doesn't want to save people from suffering. However, Elizabeth misunderstands everything, thinking Lynn is just saying he can't live without her. Lynn asks Elizabeth to please go and rule the world again. Although he is an incompetent hero, he can't continue to be selfish. He was thinking that if this place is wiped out by monsters, the worst he can do is just go to the city to work. After finishing his dinner, Elizabeth says to Lynn that if he wants her to solve the problems of the outside world, she smiles and says that it's just a small issue to her. After hearing this, Lynn gets really happy and asks Elizabeth if she agrees. He will help her pack her things now. But Elizabeth replies that she is not interested in the outside world, but there are two ways to solve this. Elizabeth misunderstands, thinking that Lynn is looking for an excuse to kick her out. Lynn asks about the solutions and what they are. She explains that the first is the most direct one. She will go out and cast a world-destroying magic spell to completely solve the issue. She asks Lynn if that will work, but Leping disagrees, saying that it definitely won't work. Elizabeth told that the second solution is to find a suitable person to rule the world, and Elizabeth can teach them from the shadows. Hearing this line doesn't understand and asks, what does she mean by a suitable person, and who should it be? Elizabeth smiles after hearing Lynn's words, and says that he knows already. Aside from her, only he is qualified for this. Leping gets really shocked after hearing what Elizabeth just said, and asks her if she really wants him to rule the world.